Today, we're going to talk about 5 things that are going to make you a better painter. So then, today, we're going to talk about 5 things that are going to make you a better painter. Now, was going to actually be recorded at a later date and put onto here, but the last video had problems, I had to scrap it. The newest video I'm working through is only halfway, and I need something for this week. But, you know, it's earlier than normal, but it's okay. So, your first thing is your tools. Now, what I mean by tools is you're going to want a load, and I mean load, of workhorse brushes. What I mean by that is something that's going to take the brunt of your work, and you're not going to be wrecking some decent brushes. For me, that means having a lot of flathead brushes, a lot of standard, just normal brushes, mostly synthetic, a couple of natural haired. But on top of that, you want, I'd say, at least 2, possibly 3 decent brushes that have a very, very nice tip and that, to be honest, are more fat-bellied by the furrow. If you can get them with longer hair as well, so the actual tip of the brush is a lot longer, that's going to help you. You're going to get a lot of a thinner line and you're going to get a lot more control. And also there's other stuff like the spring kind of bounce on the actual brush and all that, but that's something you'll learn later. This is just to take you from low beginner, and then you're going to start to learn stuff and all that sort of thing. The next thing you're going to want to do is go out and get inspiration. And what I mean by that is have a look on sites. So Facebook, Instagram, look on Google, look on anything that is going to show you artwork of painters that you envision yourself, what you want your work to look like. For me, the painter that I like the most is Andy Warhol. He's an immaculate painter and he is really good at what he does. Now, my work is nothing compared to him, but having that inspiration, that's something to look up to, it helps me to constantly strive to the next stage. And that's what you need. You need that inspiration. No painter can go, oh, I'm done. I'm at the top of my game. No need for anything else. There is always going to be a need for inspiration. So it's best to get, you want your mindset of what you like, and you need to pick up steps to get to that stage. And that brings on to the next thing on tip number 3 is experiment. Experiment with everything. So when you first start, you're going to get your base coat and you're going to be happy with that. And then you'll experiment with washes. You're going to be happy with the washes, and you're going to keep going with highlighting, edging, all that sort of stuff. And then you get to the little bit of different stuff. So the wet blending, the glazing, the what else we got? Non-metallic metals, all that sort of thing. And it looks daunting to start with. Now, most miniature painters, even as a beginner, you're going to have a model that's just stuck in the corner that you're never going to paint. They're perfect for learning these techniques. Don't think that you shouldn't learn them because they're too daunting. You've got to start somewhere. Don't think that it's a skill that just comes out of nowhere. Everything that I know is always taught, constant, and every single time I paint, it gets better. It's not a trick that you get overnight. You got to experiment, and it might not be like big things. It might be just like controlling, looking at more contrast in and trying to make your model pop more. That's how you like to paint your models. But even if it's a small step, that's another tool that you can use. Another technique that's going to help you paint better. That's going to give your painting a bigger edge. The next one, and number 4, is really, really important, and it's something that gets thrown around so much. Thin your paints. Thin your goddamn paints. Don't take it straight out of the pot and slap it straight on the model. Thin them. When you take it straight out of the pot, you're going to slap it on and you're going to get brush marks, you're going to get globs and all that sort of stuff. Now, there are techniques that are different to this and that actually overtake that. So you got something called overbrushing, I think it's called, something along those lines, where basically you're using like kind of like a big flat-edged brush, and you just keep brushing and brushing and brushing until the paint's pretty much worn into every area and it's spread everywhere. It's pretty. That's the only way I can think of not thinning your paints. And dry brushing, but again, that's another thing. You know, that's just wiping it all off. But yeah, thin your paints. 2, even 3 thin coats can be better than just 1 thick coat. 1 thick coat is going to hide all of your detail, and you're gonna, you know, you're gonna see it for the first time, and you might even weep, because it's just so heartbreaking to see that there's something you're gonna put so much effort into has lost so much detail because you've gone for 1 thick coat because it got on there quicker. Now with 2 thin coats, yes, to get the opacity you need obviously the more coats, but don't think that 1 thick coat is just the shortcut, because it's not. It's really hard. Now there are some paints out there that are built to be used out of the pot. They can still be thinned and they can still do a lot of things. I would, as a rule of thumb, is always thin your paints. Don't think that you can just go, oh wow, it's just me. You know, it's just everyone else, I can do it myself. Be all good. It won't be. You're gonna, I don't want to say you're gonna ruin your mini because you can strip it, but you're gonna find it the hard way. Take it, you know, from people when they say thin your paints, just for God's sake, thin your paints. And your last tool for being, you know, a useful tool is have fun. This hobby can be soul destroying, especially when you're painting 50 of the same model. It destroys you internally. You want to weep every night because you just can't do it, and you can get a painter block. But at the same point, we obviously do it for a reason. We have fun doing it. We like doing it. This is something we love. I wouldn't change it. And having fun and actually being in love with this thing is helping me progress. The only reason why I'm doing these videos is because I wanted to show other people my work and to show that it's not, you know, to paint it's not hard. It's hard to a degree, but it's not as hard as some people think. These are simple, you know, they're not simple models, but anyone can do this. You don't need an artistic flair. If you've got an artistic flair, it helps, but you don't need it. You can simply go from nothing, but by, like I said with the useful tip, experimenting and having your inspiration and the right tools and thinning your paints, you're going to get better. And the more better you are, the more fun, you know, theoretically speaking, the more fun you will have doing this. And I think that's where I stand at the moment. I'm having fun doing it. There are times where I just want to throw the models because I've had enough of looking at that goddamn bloke that I'm painting 50 of. But it helps. You know, me getting over that hurdle of that many models is going to teach me that I actually can do that and not quit. And I'm going to ask, you know, that's going to be something that's, the experience is going to be good for me. And then once I get onto something nice, I'm going to have fun. And that's the more important thing here, is having fun with everything. So, like I said, 5 things. Your tools. Tools don't have to be immaculate. You don't have to go out and buy Winsor & Newton. Buy brushes that work for you. Second, inspiration. Like I said, your inspiration might not be the same as mine, but inspiration helps you build on what you want as a painter, what you want yourself to be, what you want your work to be. Number 3, experimenting. Experimenting is always going to help you, because then you're just going to increase in your talent. You're going to increase in the way you paint. 4, the thin the paint is so important. Don't think you can get away with not, because everyone who paints well, that you seem to think, you know, you look at and go, oh, it doesn't look like thin their paints, there's no change in the pigment or anything like that. They've thinned their paints. It's just over years they've learned how to thin them properly, and you know, that sort of thing. And the fun, like I said, number 5, have fun. most of people paint their models not as a painter, but as actually a gamer, and that's where most of the fun comes from. And it's nice to see that, you know, yes, this may be a side thing for most people, but it's fun. Always keep this hobby, you know, this fun. Don't ever make your painting laborious, because if you start to get annoyed, you're going to lose it and you're never going to want to paint again. So hopefully that was useful to you. It's more of a rant than anything, but those 5 tips can help a lot of people. It helped me to a degree, you know, to where I am now, which isn't that, you know, I'm not the best at what I do. I'm not the best painter you're ever going to see, but I'm good enough for me to be happy with what I do, you know? So, if this in film helped you, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. You know, some of these films have got to be useful to some people, you know? So, yeah, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, that way you'll know whenever I release a video. And it'll, you know, you'll be the first, instead of having to wait for me to bloody put it on Facebook or something. And until next time, go and enjoy some painting. That's always the main thing with this. Enjoy your painting. So, I'll see you in the next video.